पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. We welcome you to our Bhagavatam class. We'll continue our discussion on uh, 24th chapter. Till now, this was previously it was Devati's lamentation, and now it is renunciation of Kardamani. Very nice instructions. It is very important for us to progress in a path of spiritual life. This is a sign of progress. It is proportionate to our renunciation. How much we are feeling detached, and that is a sign that we are making progress. And here we'll see. And all the great personalities, that is how basically renunciation is, it is the control over mind. Now, if you say renunciation, why renunciation? It is glorified. Basically, it is control of mind. Because somebody is able to control the mind, that is considered a great success. Here, control of mind means it is control of emotions. A person is able to control his emotions and stay strong. Most of the times, what happens is we are carried away by emotions, and Krishna is telling that sukha dukkha samayikritva labha labha jayaje. This is how we have to practice, and this comes by practice and conscious practice. We can achieve this state. It is control of emotions, and not that a person is hard-hearted, but he don't feel attraction. Means here the impressions are burnt. Also, we can say impressions are evaporated, burned, or they are removed. We can say anything. So there are no impressions for that person. So how can he enjoy without impression? You need to have certain impressions to enjoy. Otherwise, there is no point. Like say now, if I want to enjoy, say some food item, say tea or coffee. Now you don't have impressions on it, then you will not enjoy. You have already strong impressions of it, then only it triggers further enjoyment. How the how the desire to enjoy comes, you should have previous impressions to trigger, right? Now there is no impression only. Where come this trigger comes? There is no trigger. Then what the person should? Better you renounce the word and be happy. This is the point. Now what we have to do is live in such a way. The varnashram system is in such a way that follow varnashrama. So this following of varnashrama, what happens is they live in such a way that they are doing their activity, but they are not creating further impressions. So act without creating. So they are acting in such a way. So it helps them to not get further entangled. This is the system that Krishna created. Now, for us, we don't do Varnashrama, we follow Bhakti only. It is much faster way to get rid of these impressions. And naturally, we'll also feel detached at the end of our slowly, while we progress on the path. We don't feel any attraction to any of these material things. And even if we are taken to a big party or a marriage function, and so many items are there. If we know that it is not prasadam, we don't feel any attraction on it. We don't want to touch. Then the questions don't come. What should we do if we go to somebody's house? What we should do, whether we should eat or not? No, we'll not have that question only. That question comes because we still have impressions. We should work in such a way that that's not a question only, whether to eat chocolate or not. That question is because the impressions are very strong. It is not a question of eating chocolate or not. It is question of how much we are detached from the eating chocolate. That is a question we should ask. How to get detached from it. We should not ask the question, can I eat chocolate or not? We should ask question, how can I get detached from chocolate? How can I get detached from these things? Because at the end of the day, we all have to be free from these impressions. The It's a question of why this desire is coming, because I have impressions. To get rid of the impressions instead of working on impressions. And even if I have impressions, I should work in the right way so that the impressions go away. That is the system. Like if a person has certain impressions, then he or she will get married and do it things in a proper way. So at the end of the day, all the impressions for marriage has evaporated. Then he is happy, renounced. And this is how Kardamuni is doing. He had some slight impressions, and instead of suppressing that, he prayed to the Lord, okay, Lord, I want to get married. Lord said, okay, fine. And then he is already prepared. He said he'll just need wife for some time. Some traces are there. Let it be. I will get married. And once the children comes, they will take care of the mother and I will renounce. The formula is very simple. Now here we'll see what Maitra is continuing. Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows to Swayambhu Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devahuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation. She is also not interested in material enjoyment. She is also interested in elevating all. The sage did not do not be disappointing with yourself. The sage said, do not be disappointed with this, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. Praiseworthy, the infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son. So now this is the prediction Lord gave and Kardamani assuring her. Kardamani encouraged his wife not to be sorry, thinking herself unfortunate because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his incarnation, was going to come from her body. You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith, though sensory control, religious observance, austerities, and gift of your money in charity. Now, even if Lord is coming to your womb, they're still doing all these pious activities. Means that is natural for somebody who is elevated. He will, one is they anyway will have faith, they'll control their senses and mind. They will follow all the religious rules regularly, and they are naturally very austere also. And they want to help others by giving charity. And Prabhupada writes nice purport. He says, in order to spiritually advance or to achieve the mercy of Lord, one must be self-controlled in following manners. What is the thing? He says, he must be restrained in sense gratification and must follow the rules and regulations of religious principles. Without austerity and penance, it's two things he has to do. Must restrain the senses and follow rules and regulations. These are the two things. If want to achieve the mercy of Supreme Lord, so Prabhupada is giving us the form. If you want to achieve, you must restrain sense gratification and follow the rules and regulations of religious principles. Now, without austerity penance and without sacrificing one's riches, one cannot achieve the mercy of Supreme Lord. It is applicable for everyone. What is our austerity? Our austerity is not just external. Our austerity is to develop good qualities also. Uh, we want to control our mind and senses. And Lord Kardama Muni advised his wife, you have to factually engage in devotional service with austerity and penance, following the religious principles and giving in charity. Then the Supreme Lord will be pleased with you and he will come to you. The personality of Godhead being worshipped by you will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman. This is very important. There is not in the heart for all of us. What is the proof? The proof is we are in the material world. That is the proof. That is binding us. If the knot in the heart is removed, then we will not, there is nothing binding us in this material world. We are we are in the spiritual world. That is when the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes to disseminate spiritual knowledge for the benefit of all people, he generally descends as son of a devotee, being pleased by devotee's devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Father of everyone. No one, therefore, is his father, but he, by his inconceivable energy, he accepts some of the devotees as his parents and descendants. It is explained here that spiritual knowledge vanquishes the knot of heart. Now, what is this? Matter and spirit are knotted by false ego. The purpose rating, what is this knot? This knot is false ego. So the wrong identification which we have, that is actually holding us. And we have to remove this ego. We have a great identification with our body and mind. We cannot artificially cut it all. That okay, from today onwards I will not consider myself body. It is very artificial, it is not possible. This identification of oneself with matter, which is called Hridaya Kranti, exists for all conditioned souls and it becomes more and more tightened when one is too much attached to sex life. That's why renunciation means somebody gives up this, then everybody is appreciating him. He's like a hero. Now, one of means at least somebody who is in a cultured family, for them, hero means one of the type of heroism is who is able to give up this desire for enjoyment. And people appreciate. And if you see somebody very badly enjoying, people they think, okay, he enjoys so much. And now presently they are considered some sort of heroes. They are very expert in enjoying. But in a cultured society, if somebody renounces, they are so much appreciated. He said, yes, this person is really fortunate. Now, because the whole world now, they are programmed in such a way to become zombies. They are made to become consumers. That's why they are not able to appreciate renunciation. If some in Vedic culture, the education system was sattvic. Here it's very rajasic because it is passionate, then the goal is also passionate, and people are programmed only like that. They only are consumers. They earn money, they spend money. They don't understand the value of life. And but if you take Vedic culture, they are taught Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and other Vedic literatures, which will force a person to think in terms of renouncing this and in terms of higher knowledge and all. And that will definitely help a person to renounce. The explanation was given by Lord Rishabhdev to his sons that this material world is an atmosphere of attraction between male and female. That attraction takes the shape of knot in the heart, and by material affection, it becomes still more tightened. This is unfortunately this happens to everyone. This is the most difficult thing to overcome. This attraction is affection. It becomes this is for people who anchor for material possessions, society, friendship, and love. This knot of affection becomes very strong. If we are anchoring for material positions and we want to have good society, friendship, and love, and nowadays, like any festival, this comes. All these things are nicely promoted. We should not get carried away. And devotees also post like this. We should not get carried away by material things. Sister sentiments, brother sister sentiment videos. I am not telling we should not have it, but we should not get carried away because that is all society, friendship, and love. This is tightening the knot in the heart. Material positions, anyway, that is tightening. But the so called friendship, so called love, so called these things, they're all, we'll not say it is bogus, but we'll say it is not conducive for our Krishna consciousness. It is only by Brahma Bhavana, the instructions by which spiritual knowledge is enhanced, that the knot in the heart is cut to pieces. No material weapon is needed to cut this knot, but it requires bona fide spiritual instructions. Kardamuni instructed his wife Devahuti that the Lord would appear as son and disseminate spiritual knowledge to cut the knot of material identification. For Devahuti, directly Supreme Lord. For us, we have Supreme Lord's representatives who are doing that job. So we are also no less fortunate in that way. We have such important knowledge by Prabhupada. He's helping us to cut the knots. We just have to follow the degree we are attached to our spiritual master and follow his instructions. To the degree the knots are getting cut, we'll feel no attraction. This is, oh, he's not attracted. Why I should be interested? We are also not interested in all these things. And this is how we make progress. See, Maitreya said Devahuti was fully faithful and respectful towards the direction of her husband, Kardama, who was one of the Prajapatis or generators of human beings in the universe. Oh, great sage. She thus began to worship the master of the universe, the supreme personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart. Now, this is nice for purposes. This is the process of spiritual realization. What is that? One has to receive instructions from a bona fide spiritual master. Kardam was Devahuti's husband. And because he instructed her on how to achieve spiritual perfection, he naturally became her spiritual master also. There are many instances wherein the husband becomes a spiritual master. Lord Shiva also is the spiritual master of her consort Parvati. A husband should be so enlightened that he should become the spiritual master of his wife in order to enlighten her in the advancement of Krishna consciousness. Generally, Stri or woman is less intelligent than man. Therefore, if the husband is intelligent enough, the woman gets a greater opportunity for spiritual enlightenment. So now this is one more nice important proof we have. Because you see that many women are devotees and their husbands are not devotees. Now in this case, who is intelligent? It's not question of gender. It's a question of how much they are spiritually elevated. So based on that, this statement is. And the more if somebody is materially attached to sense gratification and material positions, that much he is less intelligent, right? Now, why? See, if you see this, it's very obvious. It is said that a husband should instruct a wife. That means husband should be more intelligent. But here the wife is already devotee. Husband is not devotee. It's not question of who is. In general, in Vedic times, most of the men, because they are trained in Gurukul and all, they have that ability. And then they come and wife is not sent to the Gurukul and then husband will train the wife. In that way, both will make progress. That's all. Now, because he got training, say if I get a training of 10 years and some junior comes to me, then I will train him. So naturally, I'll become the guru of that because I got 10 years training. He just joined the company. I am training him. So I am a guru. So because the girls are not sent to Gurukul, the boys go train. They perform all the hard work of getting training, and women happily can stay at home, take be with her mother and family. And the boys they go do the hard work of getting training under Guru. They have to be away from home, and they get trained. And when they engage only, they are sent to Gurukul and they get training. And after training, they come back. Then they are out that side. Now they become partner. They come back home and then they train their wife. So it's more hard work for men only. In that way, there is advantage for women. But the point is, it's not a question of gender. It's a question of who is more attached. And that's why when Matajis they went and complained to Prabhupada, they say women are less intelligent. Prabhupada said, yeah, if you consider yourself as woman, then you are less intelligent. That means what? It is not a question of gender, it's a question of intelligence. Hope people should not take Prabhupada is like he's criticizing something. No, he's just telling the principle. We should go with the principles and we'll see. Like Prabhupada was very loving and caring to his disciples. He never discriminated in that way. He mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita and this is purpose, but when it comes to personal dealing, he was he was equally kind. Here it is clearly said, Samyak Shraddhaya, that with great faith one should receive knowledge from the spiritual master and with great faith execute the performance of service. Sri Vishnu Chakra Thakur in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita especially stressed the instruction of the spiritual master. One should accept the instructions of spiritual master as one's life and soul. Whatever, whether one is liberated or not, one should execute the instruction of spiritual master as one's life and soul. Whether the instruction of spiritual master with great faith. It is said that Lord is situated in everyone's heart. One does not have to seek the Lord outside. He is already there. One simply has to concentrate on one's worship in good faith as instructed by bona fide spiritual master, and one's efforts will come out successful. We just that means we Lord is there and He is observing what we are doing. How much sincere we are, Lord knows it. And accordingly we have to act in this world. It is also clear that Supreme Personality of Godhead does not appear as an ordinary child. He appears as He is. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, He appears by His own internal potency, Mammaya. And how does He appear? He appears when pleased by the worship of a devotee. A devotee may ask the Lord to appear as His son. The Lord is already sitting within the heart, and if He comes out from the body of a devotee, it does not mean that the particular woman becomes his mother in the material sense. He is always there, but in order to please his devotees, he appears as her son. Now, that's why they are Leela avatars. Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, who is Purusha avatara, he follows the rules of this world. It looks like he is also bound by time. He goes according to time, whatever is said. He is time, but he follows it. But whereas Leelas come, they don't follow this. Krishna, he is not by time and you don't follow time. After many, many years, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Madhusudana, the killer of the demon Madhu, having entered the semen of Kardama, appeared in Devahuti just as fire comes from wood in a sacrifice. But right, it is clearly stated that the Lord is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although he appeared as son of Kardama. So this is the analogy that Prabhupada is also nicely elaborating. He says nice. He says fire is already present in wood, but by a certain process, fire is kindled. Similarly, God is all pervading. That means He is there in our heart also. He is everywhere. And since He may come out from everything, He appears in His devotees' semen, just as an ordinary living entity, His birth by taking shelter of a semen of a certain living entity. The Supreme Personality God accepts the shelter of a semen of his devotee and comes out as his son. This manifests his full independence to act in any way. It does not mean that he is an ordinary living entity forced to take birth in certain type of womb. That means the process is happening the same as it is happening with two ordinary men and women. But here it is Supreme Lord. He is there in our heart, he is there in everywhere, all the molecules and all. But he is not contaminated. That's what Ashnaviram Shuddham Apapa Viddham. There is one person in Saudi Arabia, a boy, he had many doubts. And one time goes to the the mosque, and they have some training class, some classes by the preachers, mullahs or whatever, the spiritual teachers. And he was giving class and he's telling that Allah is present everywhere. And this boy was a little curious. He asked, okay, if he's present everywhere, is he present in stool also? Then the Mauli or whatever, the spiritual teacher, he became very much offended. He said, get lost, you are a kafir, you are asking such nonsense question. But this person has genuinely that question. He just really want to know what does it mean that Lord is pervading all the places. And then he thought, okay, these people, they don't do anything, they just speak. And he is not, because he's not logically satisfied. And he goes to America for higher studies. And one time he just left all religious activities and all these things. He's no more interested. He said it does not work. They are not logical. They're just sentimental people. And one day he had nicely had some drinks and party, and he drank little more, and he just fell unconscious. Then his friends said, okay, let him go and put it down somewhere. Once he gets up, he can again join the party. They are dancing. They need some nice place. And then they put him down in the go down somewhere. And after some time, he wakes up, and the door was a little open, and the light beam was falling, and it was falling on a paper. And he got conscious a little bit, and then he looked at it, and it is written, God is everywhere, even in stool also. Then when he read that, he completely lost all his intoxicating effect. He just then the kick and everything was disappeared. He said, what is this? This was my question many, many years back, whether Lord is there in the stool or. And here somebody is writing, Lord is everywhere, even in stool also. Then he immediately took that paper and started reading. And then it is written that he is there even in stool also, but he will never be contaminated because he is Shuddham Apapa Vidham. And the example is given of sun. Sun may fall on any part of this world, which is dirty, filthy, and everything. Sun will not get contaminated. Instead, the sun purifies that place wherever it falls. Sun will always remain pure. This is the example. So, Supreme Lord, he may be present in stool or he is here propagating, he is present in semen also. But he is not contaminated, he is transcendental. And if you see how this matter appears, matter is actually chit potency only. So if we take in that way also, there is no problem because it is his own energy. His whole spiritual world is in chit potency. That is only manifesting as a material energy. Chit potency, how it happens is it is having the very highest vibrations. It is very highly, very, very energetic. It is very dynamic energy. It is, but when it comes down, this only manifests as it only transforms into Mahatattva. And then further down goes in, it transforms into Panchamahabhuta. So they only come as Panchamahabhuta. What happens is it's a vibration. It's a vibration only. So its chit potency is fully spiritual vibration, and the vibration comes down, 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 down. Like if you see water, it is more vibrant than earth. And fire, it has more dynamic than water. And then if you take air, it is more than air, more than fire also. And then ether will be much more. And in that way, if you go higher and higher, the energy is more. And this is chit potency. Lord is there in chit potency. So if Lord is there in the whole spiritual world, is this chit potency, and it is coming to earth in the form of, it is transforming itself in the form of five elements. So here also Lord is present. So if Lord is present there, he is present here. Where is the question of his contamination? It is his potency only, just residing in his potency. There it is differently manifesting. Here it is manifesting a little more grossly. That's all. There is no question of contamination for Lord. It is his own energy. And when this boy he read this that Lord is pure, Ashnaviram Shuddhama Papa Vidham, and is there in stool but not contaminated. Example of a son. And he just want to know. Then it is written. It is Loka from Ishopanishad, and this is an article in Back to God It Magazine. Then he immediately saw the address. It was nearby only. And he went there and he reached at 4 o'clock, Mangalarti. They made him attend Mangalarti. He knocked the door and he said, I want to meet this person. I want to know more about this. He said, oh, everything will be explained. Now, Mangalarti, please attend. After attending Mangalarti, they gave a mala in his hand. He said, you should chant 16 notes. And he chanted 16 notes. And later on, they gave him other information and everything. And he became a devotee. And he got initiated from Prabhupada. And he's a very nice devotee. So the point is, Lord is not contaminated. That is the point. So here, Prabhupada is very clear. Lord entering it does not make any difference only because it is chit potency in a very gross way. He anyway stays in chit potency. So how does it make a difference? For us, there is a difference. Why? Because this form will make us enjoy here. And we want to enter up. We'll get affected by material events. The transformation of material events affect. Because what happens now, here three modes are acting. Where in spiritual mode, three modes don't act. Three modes are not there in the spiritual world. These three modes make us entangled, and that false ego appears, and all these things, the details we have heard in the second canto. And Prabhupada Lord Narsimha appeared from the pillar of Hiranyakashipu's palace. Lord Varaha appears from the nostrils of Brahma, and Lord Kapila appeared from the semen of Kardama. But this does not mean that the nostrils of Brahma or the pillar of Hiranyakashipu's palace or the semen of Kardamana is the source of appearance of Lord. Even though it's coming, it is not the source. The Lord is always the Lord. Bhagavan Madhusudana. He is the killer of all kinds of demons. And he always remains the Lord. Even if he appears as son of a particular devotee, the word Kardamam is significant, for it indicates the Lord had some devotional affection or relationship in devotional service with Kardama and Devhuti. But he should not be mistakenly understood that he was born just like an ordinary living entity for the semen of Kardamuni in the womb of Devhuti. So we should not take it that why that is the reason these pastimes are explained also, so that that confusion will remain, to remove that confusion. Because if you see, oh, Lord is appear like that, then these pastimes are nicely written and some elaborate descriptions are there, something. It looks little odd why these things are needed. Yeah, the things are needed because the confusion should go away. We should know Lord is always, always, always pure in all situations. And even if he comes like that also, people they want to make it little more look like look some mystical thing is happening. Sometimes it need not be mystical. It can be general method also. Still, it is not contaminating. Like we give for the appearance of Krishna, which is happening after 4 days. There, what we say is that Lord entered into the heart of Vasudeva, then to heart of Devaki, then in Devaki's womb. And it is not a regular method. That some mysticism is there, something divine. And in this case, this is not like that. It is directly told, okay, he entered the womb of Devati in a regular way only. So both are special only for Lord. It does not matter. And to make it divine, like in Christianity, we have Jesus is born to a virgin. Now they don't want to show him that he's born through the semen of his father. They want to tell he's just born. And it is possible also, we are not denying, but they want to make it a little more mystical and divine. And they feel, see, he's not an ordinary person. But if you see, Pandavas are also like that only. Vyas Maharshi is also like that. Vyas Maharshi is actually Supreme Lord. But when it comes to Pandavas, when it comes, they just are born because of demigod's blessings. They just invoke them and they said, okay. Even Karna is born like that. And Karna, Kunti Maharani, she says that, to son God that my son, if I give birth, then I will lose my virginity. Sun God said, no, 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 you will remain young, you will remain virgin, you will remain Kanya only. Don't worry, you will have a son. That is very much possible. They want to show that it's something divine, but it is common in Vedic times. So here also, Lord can, if devotees can appear like that, why Lord cannot appear? If devotees, they can appear and the woman is still like that without any just touch. Like we have this Jatak Karu story in Mahabharata also we see. He he said he will not marry. And one time he was going in the forest and he sees somebody is hanging upside down in a very deep dark well. It is not know where it is ending, and the roots are it is hanging through some roots of a tree or something. And then he asked, Arey, who are you? How are you suffering? And he said, oh, we are going to hell now because our the descendant, one of the descendants who did not marry only. Now we don't have anybody who will perform all these sacrifices, and because of which we are going to hell. They say, who is this? This is Jatakar. I said, oh, I am only that. Better you get married, otherwise we'll be going to hell. He said, okay, I will get married. And then he says, but my condition is I should have somebody whose name is mine. Then Vasuki and other Sikhs, they are really afraid of the sacrifice that is going to happen by King Janmejaya because he said he will kill all the serpent. They said that then they asked Kashyapmuni what to do. He said, okay, if you get a son from this sage, he will definitely protect others. Then they were waiting when this sage will get married, when this sage will get married. And then one day he decides, okay, I want to get married. Immediately, as soon as it is all the snakes, they come, please marry our sister, please marry our sister. He said, but I'll marry. Only condition is her name should be my name. I said, yes, yes, her name is also same. It happened like that. And then they get married. And then he told a condition. If anytime she insults me, I'm going to leave. That's all. That is the only condition. Then she was very, very faithfully serving because she knows that she has a great responsibility for entire race of the snakes. All are going to get killed in this sacrifice. Only person who can save is her son. And now she need to be very careful so that the son will come. And one day what happens is the sage was after performing morning activities and all, and he took rest on the lap of his wife after afternoon, after lunch. And then then she saw the sun is setting. And now this person is very strict with his vows. He should perform his Sandhya Vandana, everything on time properly. And she sees that sun is setting. And he did not wake up to perform his evening rituals. And then she was afraid. Now, should I wake him up or not? If I wake him up, he may become upset. Why are you disturbing? If I don't wake him up and then he sees that the sun is setting, then he will be upset that why you did not help me. You allowed me to sleep. You did not. Now she is very confused. But at last she took some courage and woke him up. He said, my dear master, the sun is setting. I want you to do your katir. That's why I'm waking you. He becomes very angry. He says, how can you think about it? If I don't perform my evening rites, sun will wait till that time and then only he will set. There's no way that sun is so afraid. He said, why to take risk? I'll wait, let him get up, perform evening duties, then I will set. That much power he had. He said, how can sun do? There is no way that sun will set only. But because you insulted me by waking me up, I'm living now. I know I have nothing to do with it. There's an insult for her. Then she pleaded, no, 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 Hare, I didn't mean anything. I didn't understand your greatness. And she falls at his feet and she requests, no, let me have a son. Then he says, okay, you'll have a son. And he just leaves. He did not wait like, he did not look like Kardaman. He said, okay, you'll have a son. Because he said she become immediately pregnant and she gets a son. And that is their power. It's just by wish they can create. Like Brahma is creating. He don't need Saraswati for creating also. Even for Brahma. Some is coming from forehead, some is coming from arm, some are coming from legs, some are coming behind. So all the children of Brahma are appearing from different directions of the body of Brahma only, directly, no mother's father. And then here we see that there are different methods of like what Kunti and Madri had Pandavas. Then that is not very clearly elaborately discussed. They said they had from them. It's not like Zen regular method. Then there is some other method. Another method is like what we discussed of the car. We just he just said okay, you have and he had. And somebody just by touching the skin, somebody in other ways like Kripa and Kripi, the semen of uh, Bharadwaja Rishi, and one more sage it fell, and then they collected it, and then they placed in the womb, and the child came. Test tube baby. No, IVF method. So that was there in the previous ages also. And then there is test tube baby method, and then there are so many other ways that are possible. Now we know very only one thing. It's very gross. But still we have this IVF method. It's some things that were known. And we'll see that another shloka says at the time of Lord's appearance, the demigod flying freely in the sky showered flowers. All the directions, all the waters, and everyone's mind became very satisfied. So here the point is that, yeah, sorry, at the time of the descent, yeah, it is very clearly having entered the seam of Karlam. We'll see the next answer. At the time of his descent on the air, demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instruments in the sky. The celestial musicians, the Gandharvas, sang the glories of Lord, while celestial dancing girls, known as Apsaras, danced in jolly ecstasy. So this is the next thing. And at the time of Lord's appearance, the demigods flying freely in the sky showered flowers at the directions of the water, and everyone's mind became very satisfied. As soon as the Lord appears, it's all auspicious for the whole creation. It is learned herein that in the higher side there are living entities who can travel throughout the air without being hampered. They don't need any vehicles because they are subtle beings. That is easy for them to travel, which we cannot have, we don't have access for. They'll have access because that is more subtler and it is easier for them. Although we can travel in outer space, we are hampered with so many impediments, but they do not. We learn from this page of Srimad Bhagavatam that the inhabitants of the higher planets called Siddhaloka can travel in space from one planet to another without impediment. They shower flowers on the earth when Lord Kapila, the son of Kardama, appeared. Even if Lord appears, the advancement in the for a person happens how much we are meditating. The Lord appears in our house, He's coming in the form of deity. That means Lord is there in our house. But how much I am absorbed in Him, absorption in Him is absorbed in His service to the degree He will reciprocate. That is the formula. We can keep any number of deities. Or even if we directly meet Krishna also, whatever you are learned to do to the deities, you the training you got in serving the deities, same thing we repeat to Krishna. There is no difference, right? We whole day we are conscious about I have deities, I have to take care of them, serve them, dress them, sing for them, read for them. Whatever you do it for the deities, when Krishna comes to your home, suddenly your bell is ringing, the phone is ringing, the security at the entrance is sending a photo. So and so person came, he's wearing a flute and he's wearing yellow dress. Should I allow him into your house? He says, yes, yes, yes. He's our Lord, you please allow. And then whatever you did for the deities, you do it. That means now, if suddenly Lord comes, we have to practice with our deities now. They are not different from Krishna. And but advantage is they don't speak him all the time. So we can do whatever. We should be conscious. Okay, what did I cook today? What did I do this? How did I do this? Everything, arti and all. We are very consciously doing because we want to directly serve Krishna. Of course, this is also Krishna, but we want to serve in the form where he is directly reciprocating. When you make him dress something, he will smile also like that. Brahma is called Swayambhu because he is not born of any material father and mother. He is the first living creature and is born from the lotus that which grows from the abdomen of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Karpodaksha Vishnu. Therefore, he is called Swayambhu, self-born. And Maitreya continues, so killer of enemy, the unborn Lord Brahma, who is almost independent in acquiring knowledge, could understand that a person of the portion of Supreme Personality Godhead in his quality of pure existence had appeared in the womb of Devati just to explain the complete state of knowledge known as Sankhya Yoga. Now, here the point is that it is how much our mind is controlled to the degree we are able to meditate on the Supreme Lord or meditate on the service of the Lord. That is what is important for us. That is the criteria. Other things, it's not very important. The criteria is how much we are meditating on the Supreme Lord. And here we see in the translation also, who killer of enemy, the Lord Brahma, who is almost independent in acquiring knowledge, can understand that a portion of personality of God had appeared. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that the Lord Himself is compiler of Vedanta Sutra and He is the perfect knowledge of Vedanta. Similarly, Sankhya philosophy is compiled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His appearance as Kapila. There is an imitation Kapila who has a Sankhya philosophy system, but Kapila, the incarnation of Godhead, is different from that Kapila. Because according to them, there are 25 elements. According to us, we have 26 elements. Because 25 elements, it ends with the super soul. But after super soul, we say no, individual soul is also there. For them, super soul is ending. It There is an imitation Kapila. This is in the system of Sankhya philosophy, we explicitly explain not only the material world but also spiritual world. Brahma could understand this fact because he is Swarat, almost independent in receiving knowledge. He is called Swarat because he did not go to any school or college to learn, but learn with everything from within. This is the formula. Brahma is not learning because he's going to some university and making some PhD degrees. No, it just comes in his heart. Because Brahma is the first living creature within the universe. He had no teacher. His teacher was the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, who is seated in the heart of every living creature. Brahma acquired knowledge directly from the Supreme Lord within heart. Therefore, he is sometimes called Swarat and Aja. Another important point here is, Prabhupada says, Sattve Nam Shena. When the Supreme Personality of God appears, he begins the with him all his paraphernalia. He brings with him all the paraphernalia of Vaikuntha. Therefore, his name, qualities, paraphernalia. Okay. Here, the material world, the quality of goodness is not pure. God, goodness may exist, but there must also be some tinges of passion and ignorance. In the spiritual world, the unalloyed quality of goodness pervades. He can understand the form, name, quality, pastimes of Andaraj of the personality of God, and we are in goodness. There is no difference between the expansion of the expansion, supreme personality of Godhead. He therefore is non-different between one candle and another. But still, the candle from which the other are hit is called original Krishna. Therefore, is called Parabrahma or the ultimate Godhead. So this is clear. We'll take this. After worshipping the Supreme Lord with gladdened senses and a pure heart for his intended activities as an incarnation, Brahma spoke as follows to Kardama and Dev. He says, as explained in the fourth chapter, anyone who understands the transcendental activities, appearance, and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of God is to be considered liberated just by knowing only. Brahma, therefore, is a he is liberated. So although he is in charge of this material world, he is not exactly like the common living entity since he is liberated from majority of follies of the common living entities. He is in knowledge of appearance of Supreme Lord and is therefore worship the Lord's activities with a glad heart. He also praised Kardamani because the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Kapila has appeared as his son. One who can become father of Supreme Lord is certainly a great devotee. There is a verse spoken uh, by Brahma in which he says that he does not know the Vedas and what the Puranas are, but while others may be intended in the Vedas or Puranas, he is interested in Nanda Maharaj, who appears as the father of Krishna. The so Brahma wanted to worship Nanda Maharaj because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as a child, crawled in the yard of his house. There are some of the good sentiments of devotees. If a recognized devotees bring forth the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his son, how he should be praised. Brahma therefore not only worshipped the incarnation of Lord Kapila, but also praised his so-called father Kardama. And now Brahma is speaking. We'll take this last verse. Lord Brahma said, my dear son Kardama, since you have completely accepted my instructions without duplicity, showing them proper respect, you have worshipped me properly. Whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me. Lord Brahma is the first living entity within the universe, is supposed to be a spiritual master and everyone. He is also the father and creator of all beings. Kardamuni is one of the Prajapatis or creators of living entities and is also son of Brahma. Brahma praised Kardama because he carried out the order of spiritual master in toto and without cheating. It's a very nice purport. The conditioned soul in the material world has the disqualification of cheating. He has four disqualifications: committing mistake, illusion, cheating, sense imperfection. But if one carries out the order of the spiritual master by disabling succession or the parampara system, he overcomes the four defects. Therefore, knowledge received from a bona fide spiritual master is not cheating. Any other knowledge is manufactured by the Kadisha souls is cheating only. Brahma knew well that Kardamani exactly carried out the transcendental, carried out the instructions received from him, and he is actually honored his spiritual master. To honor the spiritual master means to carry out his instructions word for word. Very okay. Any questions, comments before we? Okay, thank you all very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.